Hi everyone, it's Jenny from Jenny Stitching Simply here on Flosstube and on Instagram. We are back from our cross-country trip and I'm so excited to be here with you. Thank you so much for coming back or for stopping by if you're new. This is a channel about cross-stitch and I do actually have a lot more than I anticipated to share with you, even though we were away for a few weeks. So I'm super excited to get started. We also have the Scissor Fob winners from the last video, and we have a 1,000 subscriber little event for today. So thank you for being here, and I will start with FFOs first. I did not think I was going to have any fully finished items to show you, but I actually do. So I will start with my July cross-stitch camp project that is being hosted by Sheri from Colorado Cross Stitcher, and I chose to do Peace on Earth, which I had shared with you in my last regular video, and I was able to finish it before we left on our trip, but I was debating about how I wanted to fully finish it. So before we left, I had come up with an idea and I was hunting for the piece that I had in mind, and of course I was able to find it on Etsy because that's my go-to. And it was actually kind of fun. I ordered some things before we left for the 1,000 subscriber giveaway and for finishing, and so when we got home everything was here, and so that was a lot of fun. So what I ended up doing was finishing it. Now it's going to be a little bit weird because it is on a mirror, so you're going to see like the camera reflected, but this is the finished piece, and this is on 32 counts Picture This Plus Legacy. I did change the colors. I'll hold those up in a moment, and I found it's a vanity tray, and I thought because the sentiment reads, "Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me," that it would be cool to have it. Oh, you can see everything in the, oh yeah, that's the camera. So it's actually a mirror on the top, and then I finished it on, I used a little bit of brown linen, not stitching linen, but just linen. And I'm still using that same package of Lady Dot Creates Thunder Cloud trim. I'll double check that. And then I added another piece from my mom's antique necklace and some buttons. The thing I struggled with this one was, I feel like I'm fairly confident with lacing and pinning, but there were everything was a straight line, all the borders and then the lines there. So that was challenging in the sense of getting everything straight, and it got to a certain point where I just had to be okay with the fact that there was no way I could get every single straight line straight. So again, I don't, if that's easier to see, I'll try to put a picture of it in. So the idea is, it's a mirror, you can see yourself, let peace begin with me. So that was my finish for that one. So this is the thunder cloud. I've shown it before, but again, I think this is the third project I've used it on, and I still have that much left. So that was cool. And this chart will be part of the giveaway today because I don't always love to store paper charts, and I've stitched it, and I know I'm not going to stitch it again, so I'd much rather pass it on to someone. The paper chart is just on like regular computer paper, but there's no writing on it. I do have my color changes on this, so there is writing on that. When you get the chart, you'll see those, but that's the color changes in case you want to see those. So that was a lot of fun. It was fun to stitch. Once I figured out what I wanted to do to finish it, I was super excited about it. So that was July cross stitch camp piece. And then I had planned on doing pieces for Jolly July. The one that I got done before we left, sorry, I'm reaching here, is the Stitching with the Housewives, Mr. Claus. And that was the one that I wanted to get done because I already had, Mrs. Claus and I had the little truck, but I did not have Santa, and Roman really wanted me to finish Santa. So there's Santa. I realized when I was pulling him out today, I have some, I think it's there's like some glue I have to get off. Somehow Santa ended up a lot bigger in the finishing too of the other. It's fine though, it's going on the Christmas tree. It's not noticeable. So that's done. I still did not get to work on Feliz Navidad, which I'm looking forward to. And then we left for our trip, and the only piece that I brought with me to work on was the stitch along that is being hosted by Sarah from SewMeSarah. And I knew, it was 32 hours in the car to Utah from Pennsylvania. And I know I'm not usually good at like reading or doing anything in the car, but I thought, well, maybe, on the way home, because actually, let me stop. The stitch along with Sarah started August 1st, but this is also my August cross stitch camp piece. So I thought, well, I can work on this starting the 1st and then on the way home. So the stitch along is this Crochet to Go-Go monthly series, which I love. And the way that Sarah's doing it, she's starting with January in this month of August, with the idea that then, when the new year comes around, everything will be done and fully finished. But as she has said many times, you can do it however you want. And it's been really fun to see everybody's. So this little guy, well, first, I definitely can't stitch in the car. There's no way. I tried so hard. I'm doing mine. So for cross stitch camp, the prompt for August was use a fabric or a fiber that you had never tried before. So I purchased Extrude Designs 32 count ash from Kitten Stitcher, which I've never used before. Extrude Design. It has a wonderful feel to it. And I changed the colors, and I am doing the Italian version. There's a French version, English, and Italian. So my January is in Italian. So I changed the colors because I'm using the darker fabric. But this little thing, everything about it, I did wrong. So these trees are in the wrong spot. They're up too high. The little penguin's up too high. I did the wrong color on the snowflake from what I had chosen to do. My white stitches, I'm not happy with at all. I went to restart it after I had like this entire bottom part stitched. And then I thought, no, Jenny, you're being ridiculous. Like, it's one line off. Like, just keep going. But it's amazing how many things I was able to mess up in this one little tiny piece. But again, I was trying to work on it in the car. I was trying to work on it in the middle of the desert in August in Utah. So I think that might have been like where some of that brain fog came in. But I really like it. And I'm super excited. Sorry, I'm just watching a car pull into the cul-de-sac. So then of course my next thought was, well, this is a monthly series and I want to make sure that I have something that I can use to finish it that would work with all 12 months. So I thought, oh, you know, like a ceramic tray would be cool. Like the one that I use, that I keep like my scissors and needles and everything on. And before I went to look on Etsy, I thought, let me look around the house to see what I have, because I have a lot of ceramics and pottery already. So I found, this was, I think, a wedding shower gift. And it's a tray that has three, it actually has 3 of these bowls, but 2 of them right now I have seashells in. And what I thought was, because there's different colors in this, depending on, so like for January, maybe you'd see more of the blue with the stitching. But for February, you know, maybe it would be more like this, or April or something, because they have those colors. So what I like about this too is I could finish it different ways. Like they could be sitting in the tray flat. They could be like put on the tray with a magnet. You could do like the January one maybe has like a little bottle brush tree standing on the tray if it's laying down. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far, but I was happy to pull this out of the, I was using the little bowls, but this was in the cabinet. So I think that's a good use for this. And we only use it like usually at holidays to put little like dips or something in. So I think I can sacrifice it for my cross stitch. I think that's more important. So that was the only thing that I thought I would be stitching on when we went on vacation. And I didn't want to bring my modern folk embroidery stitch along with me. You know, I mean, we were in a Tacoma with 3 bikes, Roman, Steve, myself, Kitty the dog, cross country. I just, you know, I didn't want to take anything that I would be really upset if something happened to it. So I still have to do that. I'm not even going to show you because now I need to catch up. But when we went to Utah, so my brother and his wife, my sister-in-law Preeti, and my mom live close to Logan. They have property, they just bought property in Logan and have to build. So we traveled all around Utah, but we went to Ogden because the boys wanted mountain bike there. So when we were in Ogden, we had to go to Shepherd's Bush. Now I made a Flosstube extra while we were on vacation, and thank you everyone for watching it and leaving comments. It was really fun because my mom made an appearance and Preeti showed us her beautiful saris, and I got to try them on, and I shared some clips from Shepherd's Bush, and my brother Brent started cross stitching because we went to Shepherd's Bush, and then he was so inspired. My mom had taught him as well, but he found something he really liked. So while I was there, I picked up some things. And if you watch that Flosstube extra, I go through my lack of self-control and all the things that I purchased there. But I thought, you know, when at Shepherd's Bush, let's try some of their designs. So of course, the other thing that made it really enticing was they had all the beautiful models stitched. And when you see like all the little pillows lined up and everything, and they're just so pretty and so tempting. So I actually ended up starting things that I had no plans on starting and then finishing them. So that was a lot of fun. So the first one that I did is called Earth's Delight, and it's a little kit. And in the back of the store, they have all these pillows finished and lined up, hanging, and then they have all the kits. So this is done on 32 count, I think it's called summer linen. Sorry, excuse me. Yes, oh, sorry, summer sun linen. It is an older pattern. It's from 2013. It is a hand-drawn chart, which I think is actually really cool, and it was not difficult to read. So I haven't done a lot of pillows, but this came with the hand-dyed ribbon trim and all the fibers, the linen. It was 1/2, which I don't normally do, but again, it was a kit, so I did it as the directions suggested. And I'm so excited about it. I think it's the cutest little thing. And I love this hand-dyed ribbon. And then they actually included really pretty matte black beads, but you know I love pearls, so I did some pearls. And then on the back, I went into my $6.50 wool scrap bag that I found on Etsy, and I found, well, I'll tell you about this backing fabric in a second, but I used some wool scraps. There's a little antique button. I did the year in a little gold-filled disc. I just stamped it. I didn't do anything around the edges yet. These are just glued down. And then there's the little bumblebee fabric there. But so that was my first shepherd's bush project in the little kit, and I love it. I love it so much. So, the backing fabric, we went to, I forget where we were. The boys were not biking. They were very kind. Like, we kind of went between dropping them off to mountain bike and then them sitting in the car with Kitty while we went in to look at different things like quilt shops, things like that. And so I think it was called My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop, something like that. I'll find it. Anyway, and I got this little bumblebee fabric for the backing. So I also got some fabric for a quilt that I've been wanting to do forever. It's a very simple quilt, and I'll show that in the next video because I think that there's a lot for this one. So that was a lot of fun. So we looked at quilt stores too with my mom and Brent and Preeti. And then the other thing that I found at Shepherd's Bush, one of the other things, was this little perforated paper chart. And again, it was a kit. It came with the perforated paper, the fibers, which are DMC mostly, this little card, the polka dot ribbon. And I've never done perforated paper, so I thought this would be a good way to try it without like buying, full sheets of it and a pattern and everything. So I didn't think I was gonna work on that one either, but one of the days so at the end of the trip, we drove down to Moab, and Moab is notorious for having some of the coolest and also most dangerous mountain biking in the world. And so I often shuttle, and shuttling is like when you drop people off at like the top of a mountain, then you meet them at the bottom so that they don't have to ride up, they just get shuttled. So if you've ever, like in Pennsylvania, we have, or where we live, we have really windy roads that are like canopy covered with trees. And that's what I'm used to. I know that kind of freaks people out sometimes if like they're from out west, because you can't really see anything except the trees and the windy road. But in Moab, it's full exposure. You're going up the elevation and it's just like a sheer drop off. So that's what Steve and Roman were riding on. But I was to drop them off and then like drive down. And there was a certain trail that they wanted to ride that they needed to be dropped off at. And I kid you not, I was sobbing. Roman can like vouch. I mean, I was so scared. I mean, I was scared for them biking because, you know, anytime they're biking like on the side of this like sheer drop off with like rocks, and scary. This road, I didn't even want to drive on the road. It was so scary. I was crying. It was so horrible. And I could have driven down to like our campsite, but I was too afraid to drive all the way down. So my husband was like, Jenny, you can see the parking lot from here. Like all you have to do is drive down the parking lot, like down this, you know, road to the parking lot. Just don't look over the side. And I'm like, what if another car comes? And what if he's like, you can see the parking lot, just, you know, because I had said like, I'll just sit in the parking lot of this, you know, this other area, and it's closer because we also didn't have any cell reception, but we have like a walkie-talkie system that you can use without cell coverage. So at least they can let me know like, okay, we're halfway down the trail and we're still okay. Anyway, sorry, that was a long story to tell you that I wasn't planning on working on this, but while I was sitting in the car, like, well, okay, so I made it down to the parking lot, and that was a huge accomplishment for me. And then while I was waiting for them, just praying that they were okay in the middle of the desert, you know, on the side of a cliff, I decided I can either sit here and be miserable and worry, or I could just start stitching one of these little projects that I picked up. So it's ridiculous. I stitched this adorable little, the flowers with the flag. And then this is the card that came with the kit and the ribbon. Now, I put it on the side of this birdhouse, and the birdhouse also came from Shepherd's Bush. So we went there twice. The first time Roman and Steve were with us too, and my mom and Brent. And Roman had seen these birdhouses, and then he was like really upset with me that I didn't get one of the birdhouses. So we had gone, my mom and I went back a second time because the boys were mountain biking and Brent was working. So yeah, I got the birdhouse. Anyway, yeah, long story short, I got the birdhouse, and then I put the project on the birdhouse. And then I said to Roman, maybe I should do like a wool applique on the other side that says like Moab 2021. And we decided no. I think we'll all remember the day where Mom was crying because she didn't want to drive like, I don't know, a football field length down this road to this other parking lot. Anyway, it was kind of funny. So that is a really nice memento of the trip. And then the other really cool thing that happened at Shepherd's Bush that I had mentioned in the Flosstube extra video was Brent got super inspired to cross stitch. I think I started talking about this earlier and then I shifted gears. So he found the Sheepish Manor pattern by Chessie and me. So keep in mind, like he had cross stitched before when we were little, and Brent and I are 10 years apart almost. So I don't remember or know like what he had learned on originally that my mom showed him. So he found that and he loved it. And it's 36 count, it's Gloriana silk, it's got lazy daisies and I think satin stitches and different things. So he decided to pick that up. I thought, wow, go for it. You know, that's awesome. So not only did he finish it, but he made his own personalizations to the charts. And then literally 10 minutes before I was going to start making this video, I heard the mailman like scanning a package because our mail, like we have like our mailboxes on our house, and this came in the mail from Brent to me. So he finished the chart. He made it into the shape of Utah. He did the lazy daisies on the tree. He did 2 strands over 2 on the roof to make it thicker. He added some long straight stitches to the sheep to make it more like sheep-like. He did not put the initials in. He did the grass. He did all of this he actually had most of it done like while we were at his house, and then he mailed it to me like after all that work, his first piece, you know. And then he sent me this beautiful, beautiful card with the nicest note in it. So that was so sweet. So now my brother Brent totally is in deep. He's in so deep. He's gone back to Shepherd's Bush a few times, which I'm super jealous of. He's about to start Dutch Beauty because, you know, I mean, what do you do when it's your second cross stitch project? Just go for it. And I think he picked up the Blue Flower Quilted Bee. He's loving looking at needle minders and all the accessories, and so it's just really fun because I'll get messages from him like showing me the charts that he really likes, and it's fun because there's a lot of overlap without him knowing. You know, he'll show me a chart and I'll be like, oh yeah, you know, I love that one, I've looked at that for a long time. So he is like totally committed. Oh, and then he just texted me right before I started making the video. He's already made his own chart. Yeah. So that's really fun. So Brenty is totally, he's in deep. He's in deep. Just looking. So I made a project bag for Brent, but he hasn't seen it yet. So I won't show it on here, but I did pull out, so we had gone to 2 quilt shops all together when we were visiting. And I told him pick fabric that he liked for a project bag. So he picked, these are really cool. They're not quilt fabrics though. They're actually like a woven Japanese fabric. So it made it a little bit more challenging. I didn't think about it at the time, but it was fine. I just made sure it was really well like interfaced, and I'll show you a picture of it in the next video. And then he really likes needle minders. So I told him, so I had been thinking myself, because so he's stitching in hand like I do, because I showed him the way I do it when we were visiting, and he said he likes stitching in hand too. So one of the things for me, you know, I don't collect needle minders in the sense that usually they're too heavy to have on my piece when I'm stitching in hand. If I had a frame or a hoop, I would definitely use them because I do lose my needle all the time. I mean, in all fairness, like I have that little stitching tray that I have shown in previous videos. I never put my needle on it. My needle's always lost. So I thought, well, maybe there's a way to just make something like smaller and lighter so that when you're stitching in hand, it's just not like pulling the fabric down. And so we went to, well, before we left on our trip, I'd already been thinking about that. And I thought, like, what if I just got really strong magnets that were smaller and put it on something that size-wise was smaller and also lighter. And when we were in Moab, we stopped at, there's like a rock shop there. And so I wanted to see if there was any kind of like smooth, flat stones that would work well for that purpose. And I had ordered some vintage buttons before we left. So the magnets are really tiny. They're too tiny for this one. It actually works. This is a piece of Australian jasper that I got. I can't even hold it because it's really small, for Brent's. And this one does hold a needle, because for me, I just need it to hold a needle. I don't need it to hold my scissors or anything else like that. But it definitely was keeping with this kind of like color palette, desert colors. But on other things, it's not strong enough. I'll show you some of the other. This is what I got for me. Is this it's so tiny. I don't know if I can get it. Like this cool vintage button, mother of pearl. But because it's thicker, the magnet wasn't big enough and strong enough, so I still have to play with that. But I found, when we were at the rock shop, some really cool things that would work. Like this is a pearl, which is really cool. I got a bunch of these in different, you know, they're all different because they're natural. So I thought that would be a neat needle minder. This is a piece of blue lace agate. So again, for me, like if I just needed to hold my needle and I want it to be small and lightweight, that's what I was thinking. Oh, there's also, like this is a piece of sodalite. So I was trying to find stones that were fairly flat, lightweight, smooth. I just need to order magnets that are tiny bit bigger than those super small ones. But for Brent, it will work. He did see that when I sent him a picture of it because he was going down the needle minder rabbit hole. And I said, hold on, I made you one like before you get them all. So then I had purchased a pattern. Sarah from SewMeSarah, who I talk about all the time, and I'm sure you guys have watched her videos. If not, you definitely need to. And she's probably like, thank goodness this girl lives on the other side of the world, so she's not showing up at my house, because I just think Sarah's the coolest. But she was talking a few videos ago about her friend Judith and how Judith has quilt patterns and tutorials. And I went on Judith's website. It's called, sorry, reaching again, Just Jude Designs, I think is the website. I'll put it below. Sarah has it on her Flosstube video a few videos ago as well. Anyway, she has so much great information and tutorials and inspiration, and it's all free on her website. And then she also has patterns that you can purchase. And so I loved her aesthetic, and I loved everything she did. And I thought, you know, she has put out so many wonderful tutorials and things for free for everyone. You know, I really wanted to support her and purchase a pattern, and that was not difficult because I loved all of them. But what I ended up with was, it's called the Gracie pouch, and it's this beautiful pouch that has the quilted bottom. And it's also like, I've made like project bags and pouches and things like that, but this one has the more of like the box bottom, which I haven't done before. So she does have an Etsy site. You can also purchase directly from her website. And I will say, I have not made those yet. That's my next sewing project. The instructions are so clear. They're so clear, and there's photos of everything. And what I really thought was funny, well, not funny, but I appreciated, at the beginning of all of her patterns, it's like assumed knowledge, something to that extent. I didn't bring the whole instructions with me. But it was like basically to the effect of like knowing how to use a sewing machine, a rotary cutter, a ruler, you know, so things like that. And I was like, okay, I know how to do all those things. I can make this, you know, even though it may seem like a lot because I don't do stuff like this all the time. So I'm really excited. And then when we were visiting and going to the quilt shops, I asked my mom and Preeti to pick out fabric for those bags that they would like. So my mom chose, and I'm gonna add a solid linen to this, but these are the two that she picked, which are really pretty. And then Preeti, hers will probably be the bigger one because she has the larger scale design, the peacock. There's this really pretty glitter fabric that's not, it's sparkly, but there's like no texture to it, which is really cool. And then I had found this because Preeti loves magenta too and gold. So we'll do something like with that combination. So As soon as I get that made, I will show you. I was working on Brent's project bag until like midnight last night, but I was waiting for Roman. He was at a friend's house, and I was thinking, oh yeah, this age is so difficult because they're not old enough to drive themselves yet, but they're old enough to stay up late. But I couldn't stay up that late. I was struggling so hard, so I thought if I work, start this project bag, it'll keep me awake until I have to go pick Roman up. And it was reminding me of having to do that with Tristan. And Tristan's doing really well. We haven't been able to talk to him because he's out in the wilderness until August 21st. So he must be okay, right? Because I haven't gotten a phone call from anyone. So if you're just watching for the first time, my older son's doing a NOLS course. So he's somewhere in Utah also at the moment. And I'm just looking around for a second to make sure. Okay, so let me do the scissor fob giveaway. And thank you so much for everyone that took the time to give feedback about like what they like in a scissor fob, and it was just super helpful. So this is what we were giving away. This is the one that's on my scissors. And it will be basically this. I think the lobster clasp, instead of sterling, maybe gold fill, but it'll have the sterling disc, and then whichever initial you choose. So I have, let me just grab my phone because I take the picture of the random comment thing. Okay, so the first name that came up is Alice Schultz. So congratulations, Alice. And it was really special too because Alice's name came up, and she was one of the people that had left a comment. You make these videos, and I mean, I enjoy it so much. It like holds me accountable for getting things done, and it's something that Roman and I were able to do together at the beginning. And there was a long stretch where I didn't film a video because we had life things going on, and I was waiting on Roman, and anyway, long story short. And you kind of wonder, like, I mean, I don't know, like, does it even matter to anyone if I do or don't? And Alice had reached out and said, I really hope you make another video. And like, honestly, sometimes it's just that one random comment that like gets you moving, and get you motivated again. So Alice, your name came up first, and then the second winner, because we said we were gonna do two, was Sue Phillips. So Alice and Sue, if you will email me, my email's in the description box, and just let me know what initial, I mean, I don't wanna just assume that it's going to be the initial of your first name, just let me know. It can be, one character, so it can be a letter, it could be a number, it could be, I think for that size, I also have, it could be a heart, it could be a sun, but just email me and let me know what you're thinking, and then also send me your address, obviously, and then I'll get that out to you. It will probably, like, usually I try to get things out like the day after I hear from people, but I need to make them, so it'll be a little bit longer, but you'll know. So congratulations, and thank you again. I'm definitely going to start working on scissor fobs, and I will add them to my Etsy shop that does not have stitching items in it now. However, I think, it does, it's like jewelry for our stitching tools. So there was enough interest that I will do that and add those to the shop, and I can let you know when I do that. So that was that. And then for the 1,000 subscriber mark, I had mentioned in my Flosstube extra, I'm so grateful. The numbers, like so many people say, whether it's like 900 people or 1,000, it doesn't, like, that's not why I make the videos, or probably anybody makes the videos, but it is really sweet, how everyone wanted to see me get there. So as a thank you, I do have things today. And when I was thinking about what to do, I thought, I'd like to share things that over this journey of making videos and trying new things that I really enjoy myself. So I went back and before we left for our trip, I purchased some things on Etsy that are some of my favorite things to share with you. So I'm going to go through them. I'll tell you the keyword to use in the comments. We'll do the random comment generator and just all the usual things. Be over 18, and I'll need to get your mailing address, and don't say giveaway, and all those things. So the first, well, actually, before we do the tangible things that we're giving away, the other thing I wanted to do was, I thought, it would be fun to have something that is for everyone as a thank you. And I thought, I could make a chart, I could try that. And I understand how to use the program. And I had printed out some graph paper before we went on our trip. And I just cannot, my brain can't look at the graph, the empty graph paper and do anything. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do it the way I normally would. And I'm just going to I'm literally going to start stitching it. So this is not enough you can't tell what it's going to be. And this is just the very beginning, but that's the start. And this is the color palette. So maybe by next video, I thought, I'll get home from Utah and I'll make a pattern and then get it into the program and get it ready to share with everybody and stitch it. And that was not realistic. We got home on this past Sunday at 5 o'clock in the morning. But so I'm doing it, I don't know how other people do it, but I think I'm doing it the opposite way. I'm stitching it kind of freehand, and then I'm going to put it into the computer program to generate the PDF. So this is, again, these are the colors and the fabric, and hopefully I'll have that for you guys soon. So if not, I'll give you the chart that Brent made. How about that? No, I'm just kidding. Well, maybe not. I'll ask Brent. So the first thing to share is the Peace on Earth La-Di-Da chart that I finished for July. And if you are interested in that chart, just use the word peace in your comments. And I will send you, the original chart. Like I said, I have my notes on the color changes. I'm happy to send you I don't have the fabric, but the actual colors that I used that are half skeins now, I'm happy to, I'll put that in there too so you have them. Because one of the colors was a mystery bobbin. So if you like the color conversion, you might need that. And then the second thing that I thought of was I obviously am most partial to DMC, but I do love my Sejou fibers. I think they're beautiful to stitch with. So I have two. So what I did was I was purchasing them as set, they come in these sets on Etsy, and I have since learned that I think it's Hobby House Needle Crafts or the shop in New York. You can just buy one card of the color you need. So I split up a set, and we're gonna call, so they're in these beautiful boxes, and the first set are cool colors. These are all, obviously new, they're not. And then there's the little Sejou bobbin, or you know what I mean, to wind your threads on. So if you're interested in this Sejou set, just use the word cool, COOL, as in cool colors. And it will come in a little box like this. And then the second one is the same thing, same number of, I think there's 6 in each. This is warm, so we'll call this, and then there's the 2 bobbins. So if you're interested in this one, just use the word warm. And then the other thing that I've become obsessed with is this Meme Works on Etsy. There's the card. And unfortunately, I messed up the bow, but it's okay because I have to open it anyway to show you. And I didn't even, like, this is how beautifully she sends it. And so I have to open it to show it to you, and I'm kind of sad. Wait, you know what? I think I can just, it's one of the little tape measures. It's so cute. This one has a little Singer sewing machine on it. So if you're interested in this one, I'll put it back together nicely. What did I say? Measure, just use the word measure. And then the last one, I'm a little sad because I ordered this on Etsy before I left. And when it came, like when we got home and like all the mail was just kind of like piled up, it had gotten crumpled. But I ordered, so this is a hard copy. It's never been out of the plastic. It's this Evlia chart, but it got really wrinkly. It's still beautiful and obviously still more than usable, but it's called Evanthia. And with the charts, I got together, these are the called for DMC colors, so it'll come with that. And then it will also come with the cloth. This is ground cloth that I love. So it will come, I purchased this, I think the last time I got it from Evlia, I ordered like a yard of it. So I will send the correct size cut for you with that. So if you're interested in that, I thought that was fitting. Evlia was kind of where it all started for me, like coming back to cross stitch. That was, you know, one of my absolute favorite designers. So if you're interested in that, just use the word Evlia and we will draw all those winners on the next regular video, which should be in 2 weeks. It's been working out where I've been able to make a video every 2 weeks. And I think that's everything. If I forgot anything, I'll tell you next time. And it looks like my battery's about to die, so I am going to say goodbye for now, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.